Hello everyone, welcome to English with Pranav. How are you all? I hope you all are studying hard for getting the highest marks in your coming board examination and wish you all the best for your board examination. And here in today's video I am going to help you with this very chapter, the making of a scientist. Dear students, please watch this video till the end because I am going to teach you line by line, and how important line by line is you can understand that questions will come from the lines given in your chapter. That is called as extract type question. So the making of a scientist, first question, the making of a scientist is written by Robert W. Peterson. That is given in the last of the page. If you see, that is given on the last of the page, Robert W. Peterson. Here it is. Now another question, the making of a scientist means what? Here we will read about the procedure in becoming a scientist. Everyone, please watch this video till the end. I guarantee you that after watching this video, you will be able to solve all the questions related to this very chapter if asked in your board exam. What is the name of the scientist in this very chapter? Richard Ebright. Actually, Richard Ebright became a scientist, and this very chapter will teach you how he was able to become a scientist and who made Richard Ebright, or who helped Richard Ebright in becoming a scientist. The first and foremost answer will be his mother. And try to find out from reading this very chapter how she helped, means how the mother of Richard Ebright helped him in making him a scientist. Actually, this boy was more fascinated and eager to collect different samples of butterflies. Always remember, dear students, if you have the interest in any field and if you have the passion in any field, it is sure that you will become successful in that very field. There is a need to show the passion, eagerness, desire, confidence. Now, two questions you will keep in mind while reading it line by line. The very first question is, how did a book become a turning point in Richard Ebright's life? Now, one question, which book is here referred to? The book was given by her mother, that was The Travels of Monarch X. Always remember, The Travels of Monarch. Monarch is the name of the butterfly, you can say the sample of the butterfly X. How did his mother help him? Actually, it was his mother who supported Richard Ebright a lot in making him a scientist. Try to go line by line. If you will be asked the questions, you will have to solve it. So see here. At the age of 22, a farmer, caught up the air, excited the scientific world with a new theory on how cells work. Richard Ebright and his college roommate explained the theory in an article in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Science. In short, if you really want to understand, Richard Ebright with his college mates, you can say, gave a theory on how cells work, basically cells of butterflies. Understood? And his theory was published in an article in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Science. Dear students, Richard Ebright is the protagonist of this chapter. Protagonist of this chapter. If I ask you, what do you mean by protagonist? Protagonist means the leading character. Now, the second paragraph says what? It was the first time this important scientific journal had ever published the work of college students. This important scientific journal, the National Academy of Science, has never published the work of college students earlier, but this time the very journal published, means it was a great achievement for Richard Ebright also. His giving theory about how cells work was just equal to hitting home run at the mere age of 15 in big leagues. Suppose in the international cricket match, understood, if Ishan Kishan from Bihar hits double century, means it was a great achievement. He is very, you can say, what, young as compared to Virat Kohli and other senior cricketers. In the same way, Richard Ebright was very young in the field of science, and at the mere age of 22 he was able to give the theory on how cells work. Dear students, please understand, for Richard Ebright, it was the first in a long string of achievements in science and other fields, and it all started with butterflies. Actually, I also understand that in the field of science, if you really want to become a scientist, you will have to have a great interest towards any particular field. You will have to become a specialist in that very field where you want to work. Understood? What to talk about becoming a scientist only, dear students? I would say that in any field, if you want to become successful, you will have to become the specialist for that. Understood? As only child, Ebright grew up north of Reading. Reading is a name of a place, in Pennsylvania. There was not much I could do there. He said, I certainly could not play football or baseball with a team of one, but there was one thing I could do, that was collect things. In a small area or place like Reading in Pennsylvania, it was, the infrastructure was not, well, you can say, managed. Like, there was no any area to play football or baseball with a team of one. But one thing Richard Ebright could do, that was collect things. Another motivational line, if you can take it better, that is, your financial status, your place does not hamper the path of your success. Means, if you really want to become successful, your money, your position will not hamper. If you're determined enough to become successful, I think God will also help you. Understood? Just keep working hard. How he did, and did he ever, beginning in kindergarten, means, KG schools, nursery or initial phase, primary school, Ebright collected butterflies with the same determination that has marked all his activities. Determination. If you have a strong determination and willpower to do anything, I know that you can also have a great success in your life. And I wish all my students to be highly successful persons and do something great in your life. Do something for your country, people, society, and all that. Actually, he also collected rocks, fossils, and coins, and he became an eager astronomer related to the atmospheric, predictions and all that. Sometimes stargazing all night. Actually, do you know one thing? Normal people can read the history, but persons who are rigid, who are stubborn, can create the history. I want you to be determined and create the history, not read the history. Always remember, dear students. From the first, he had a driving curiosity. Always remember, everyone, that if you have a driving curiosity, if you have eagerness to do something, you can be a great and a highly successful person in your life. Along with the bright mind, Richard Ebright had bright mind also, driving curiosity also. He had a mother. Always remember, if you can remember this line and underline this line, he had a mother who encouraged his interest in learning. She took him. Always remember how she helped. The very answer of the question, how did his mother help him in making him a scientist? His mother, who encouraged his interest in learning, she took him on trips, bought him telescopes, microscopes, cameras, mounting materials, and other equipment, and helped him in many other ways. Dear students, it was his mother that provided telescopes, microscopes, cameras, mounting materials, and all these things. You can understand that she was absolutely supportive. Now, another thing, I think parents should always be supportive towards their children, sons and daughters. And I am 100% certain in this very thinking that almost all the parents are absolutely helpful and supportive. Yes or no? You should comment me that whether your parents have done something great in your life, whether they are supportive or not. And yes, one more thing, you should also comment me in the comment box which chapter I should teach to you. Understood? And one more request here, please share this video to as many students of class 10th as you can. Okay, let them be benefited from this video as well, and help me in this regard. Anyway, coming back to the next paragraph, I was his only companion. His mother said, I was his only companion until he started school. His mother said, after that I would bring home friends for him, but at night we just did things together. Richie means Richard Ebright is called in short Richie, like Aditya is called Adi. So Richie was my whole life after his father died when Richie was in third grade. In short, you can understand. When did Richard Ebright's father die? His father died when he was only in third grade, third class. And you know, dear, that Richard Ebright had only the mother with him, and she was also a very supportive mother who supported Richard Ebright in making him a scientist. Okay. She and her son spent almost every evening at the dining room table. If he did not have things to do, I found work for him. Her mother is saying that she always made her son engaged in learning different things. She used to sit together with him. Also, she used to find work for him, not physical work but learning things. His mother said he liked it, he wanted to learn. You can underline this line, this will make you successful also. He wanted to learn. I think if you also want to become successful, you should always have the eager to learn all the time. Just learn the things, read the things. You can learn it either from your books or from your seniors, elders, your parents, your friends, your teachers, anyway. And learn he did. He learned. Means he earned top grades in schools. He was a bright student since his childhood. Okay, on everyday things, he was just like every other kid, his mother said. Now, means he was a bright child also since his childhood, bright student also. He always got top grades in school, right? By the time he was in second grade, Richard Ebright had collected all 25 species of butterflies found around his hometown. Now these are the 25 species almost of butterflies. These you should remember. Okay, these all are the scientific terms, so I would go with the next paragraph. That probably would have been the end of my butterfly collecting, he said, but then my mother got me. Actually, what did Richard Ebright do since his childhood? He had another interest, that is to collect different samples of butterflies. Always remember. And next is, but then my mother got me a children's book. Always remember and underline this line, The Travels of Monarch X. Which book was given by his mother to him? The Travels of Monarch X. And that book was told how monarch butterflies migrate to Central America, opened the world of science to the eager young collector. My dear students, you know, doing the same thing every day will become boring. And in order not to make her son bored, she, means the mother of Richard Ebright, provided him a children's book, that was The Travels of Monarch X. Monarch is also a kind of butterfly, and that also added the interest in learning more about butterflies. I am talking about Richard Ebright. Credit goes to his mother. Now the next paragraph, watch this video till the end. I know that this video will be very lengthy, but I need and I would request to watch this if you really want to solve all the questions of this chapter, and give me a like if you really want, if you really like this video. At the end of the book, readers were invited to help study butterfly migrations. He read the book, and at the end of the book it was written that all the readers are invited to help study butterfly migrations, and they were asked to tag butterflies. So all the readers who used to read The Travels of Monarch X were requested by the author of that book, you can say, to tag butterflies for research by Dr. Frederick A. Urquhart of the University of Toronto, Canada, Richard Ebright's mother wrote to Dr. Urquhart, and soon Ebright was attaching light adhesive. Adhesive means a sticky, चिपकने वाला, tags to the wings of monarchs. Anyone who found a tagged butterfly was asked to send the tag to Dr. Urquhart. It can be deeper. Only good students who know that in science field, if someone wants to become a scientist, he will have to collect different samples by different experiments, work. The same kind of experiment and project, you can say, or practical things were being done under the guidance of Dr. Urquhart, and this Richard Ebright was also one of them who was tagging different samples of butterflies. The butterfly collecting season around reading lasts 6 weeks in the late summer. If you are going to chase them one by one, you won't catch very many. So the next step of Ebright was to raise a flock of butterflies. Collecting butterflies became absolutely tedious, boring for him. So he said what? That I will raise a flock of butterflies. Very important. He would underline this line from here. He would catch a female monarch and take her eggs and raise them in the basement through their life cycle from, youngest part of any insect, you can say, or butterfly is an egg, then to caterpillar, then to pupa, and to adult butterfly. The students who know science can understand it better. This is the life cycle of any butterfly. At first egg, then a caterpillar or pupa or adult butterfly. Then he would tag the butterfly's wings and let them go. Tagging the butterfly, this kind of butterfly tagged. Adhesive, कोई understood? Adhesive material, with adhesive material or sticky material, he used to tag the butterflies. For several years his basement means underground area or ground floor area, you can say, was home to thousands of monarchs in different stages of development. Now this very chapter, I think this kind of question comes in your analytical paragraph. How will you analyze this? That is a kind of question which I am just leaving it to you. And analytical paragraphs are very important, and that will come in your board examination. Analytical paragraph, and I have already made a video on that, how to solve or how to write any paragraph that will come under analytical paragraph. Dear students, in short, I would say a chart will be given. I'm just derailing you from the track, but almost you are on the track for your board examination. Suppose a pie chart will be given, or a graph will be given, a bar graph will also be given, and some data will be given, like in the year of 2020, how many patients were suffering from coronavirus and what happened. It can be the road accidents also. You will have to analyze the data and explain it in the form of sentences. That is what analytical paragraph is. Now analytical paragraph is something where your writing capacity is checked. So try to write. I would also suggest you all, dear students, to prepare, to solve the sample papers from now, if you want to get good marks or enhanced marks in your board examination. Okay, coming back to the topic. Eventually Richard Ebright began to lose interest in tagging butterflies. It is a tedious, means boring or tiresome, you can say, and it is tedious and there is not much feedback. Ebright said, in all the time I did it, he laughed. Only 2 butterflies I had tagged were recaptured, and they were not more than 75 miles from where I lived. Please read these 3 questions. These are even more important for you all. What lessons does Richard Ebright learn when he does not win anything at the science fair? Do you know my answer? Please let me tell you the answer at first. After that, I'll go line by line, and watch this video with it till the end. This is going to be a long one, but the most important one. Okay. Actually, Richard Ebright, at first, do you know, he lost a kind of science exhibition when it was held in his regional area. But from there, he learned that if you really want to win any game, any science fair, any project, you will have to show your practical thinking, practical reasoning, not any, figure or portrait you will have to display. How he learned है ना. And when he does not win anything at the science fair, still what lesson did he learn? What experiments and projects does he then undertake? What are the qualities that go into making of a scientist? These three questions are very important. Please try to understand from the further paragraphs. Dear students, then in the seventh grade, he got a hint of what real science is when he entered into a county science fair, means an event, regional science fair, and he lost that science fair. It hurts when you lose any game or any participation or in any event. It was really a sad feeling to sit there and not get anything while everybody else had won something, Richard Ebrard said. But his entry was slides of frog tissues, means in his exhibition he was simply showing the display of frog tissues which he showed under a microscope. He realized, underline this line beta everyone, this line is very important. He realized the winners had tried to do real experiments and not simply make a neat and clean display. Means Richard Wright learned that if I really want to win any experiment, win any, you can say what, contest or competition, I will have to be very real towards my experiments. It should not be hypothetical or only displays should be there. Already the competitive spirit that drives Richard Ebright was appearing. Means Richard Ebright every day was learning, he was getting the competition. I knew that for the next year's fair, I would have to do a real experiment. He understood that if I really want to win any competition, I will have to do real experiment. The subject I knew most was about the insect work I had been doing in the past several days. Actually, if you have the mastery on any topic, you should work to strengthen that topic, and if you work on that, if you choose that very field, you will become successful. Simply, I mean to say, my dear students, that if you are interested in science, better go in the field of medical. If you are interested in the field of social science, you can prepare for UPSC exam, IPS exam, IAS exam. Understood? Means so many career options are there. Understood? You can also become a great IITian, a great doctor, a great officer. Now what happens? See, he had the interest in insects and he had the experience also. So he thought that, Richard Ebright thought that in the next experiment or in the next competition, I'll do the real experiment about insects. So he wrote to Dr. Urquhart for ideas and came a stack of suggestions from experiments. Those kept Richard Ebright busy all through high schools and led to prize projects in county and international science fair. Richard Ebright got the ideas from Dr. Urquhart. Another motivational line. If you really want to become successful, you will have to get the blessings of your parents and your teachers also. There should be a guide, there should be a mentor, there should be a teacher in your life who should always provoke you to do something great, who will always motivate you to do something else, who will always guide you to do something great in your life. And Dr. Urquhart also suggested or helped Richard Ebright in this, due to which he got the prize not only in the county science fair but also in international science fairs. Understood, dear students? Okay, next, for his 8th grade project, means when he was in class 8th, in that he got the project competition, Richard Ebright tried to find the cause of a viral disease that kills nearly all monarch caterpillars every year. All monarch caterpillars were dying every year due to a viral disease. What kind of viral disease that was, and what was the cause of that viral disease, he wanted to know. Richard Ebright thought the disease might be carried by a beetle. Beetle means another insect. He tried raising caterpillars in the presence of beetles. I did not get any real results, but I went ahead and showed that I had tried experiments. This time I won. Actually, this very paragraph is more important. Try to understand. The next year, his science fair project was testing the theory that, underline this line everyone, Viceroy butterflies, means What viceroy's butterfly is in the bottom. Viceroy butterflies. Okay. Copy monarchs. This is monarch butterflies. Means both look the same. This viceroy butterfly tries to become like monarch butterflies. The theory why this kind of viceroy butterfly wants to become like monarch, the answer is the theory was that viceroy look like monarchs because monarchs don't taste good towards, means tasteless. Monarch butterfly was tasteless. Understood? It did not give good taste, है ना, to words. Words basically eat insects, and this monarch was tasteless, so birds used to leave it. They don't used to eat it. They used to prefer what? Viceroy butterfly. Understood? So the viceroy butterflies thought that the more they look like monarchs, the less likely they will become world's dinner. Tasty, tasty. Sorry, but I am not in the support of non-veg or and all that. But just for fun, I am just saying this. Richard Ebright's project was to see whether, in fact, birds would eat monarchs. He found that a starling, means a starling in Hindi it is manna, a bird, would not eat ordinary bird food. It would eat all the monarchs. Actually, a starling used to eat monarchs also it could get. Means this also became a prey of or a victim of a starling. Okay, it would eat it would eat all the just you can say it would eat all the monarch butterflies, dear students, due to which he was getting the ideas. Richard Ebright was getting the ideas through lots of experiments. And do you know, this project was placed first in the zoology division and third overall in the Conti Science Fair. Okay, means he did lots of research and he became successful in that. Okay, one thing or one question, dear students, if I ask from you, what lesson did Richard Ebright learn when he failed in the science fair? You will comment me in the comment box if you have learned that lesson. What lesson did he learn? Okay, beta. See the next. This one is viceroy butterfly. This one is monarch butterfly. This one was tasteless, tasty. This viceroy butterfly wanted to become like monarch, but this monarch, after experiment, it was shown that this monarch also becomes the prey and victim of a starling. Okay, everyone. Okay. See the next. In his second year in high school, Richard Ebright began the research that led to his discovery of an unknown insect hormone. Indirectly, it also led to his new theory on how cells work. It can be tedious for you to watch this video, but I would say that all the lines are informative. So watch this video till the end. When he was in the second year in high school, Richard Ebright began the research that led to discovery of unknown insect hormone. Means there was a kind of hormone, and indirectly it also led to his new theory on how cells work. See what happens. The question he tried to answer was simple. What is the purpose of tiny 12 gold spots on monarch pupa? On the body of monarch pupa, 12 tiny gold spots, means golden spots. Dhabba in Hindi it is. Golden spots are found on monarch pupa. Is it only for decorative purpose, beauty purpose, or there is a function of the tiny gold spots on monarch pupa? Everyone assumed the spots on monarch pupa, on the body of monarch pupa was just ornamental, just for beauty purpose. Ebright said, but Dr. Urquhart did not believe it. He was a practical kind of man. Okay, to find the answer, Ebright and another excellent science student first had to build a device that showed that spots were producing a hormone necessary for the butterflies full development. Actually, Richard Ebright and all of them built a device due to which they came to know that a particular hormone is, the spots were producing, means the golden spots were producing a particular hormone that is essential for butterflies development. Okay, so the golden spots on the body of monarch pupa, you can say, was not only for decorative purpose, rather it was a hormone which was necessary for the development of butterfly. And do you know, everyone, be happy. This project won Richard Ebright the first place in the Quantity Fair and entry into the International Fair and Engineering Fair. There he won the third place in Zoology. He got a chance to work during the summer in the entomology means what? Please comment in the comment section. Entomology means a study of insects. Okay, laboratory for the Walter Reed Army Institute of Research. Everyone, please understand. Just I'm giving you an example from your life. Suppose you get first position, or you can say get highest ranks, highest marks in your board examination. According to that, you will also get preference for your 12th exam. According to that, you will also, if you get good marks in 12th also, you will get better colleges in your, in you can say you will get better universities. Means thus step by step you can reach till the top, pinnacle, zenith, peak, you can say. Dear students, he started on working on entomology laboratory where insects were studied how they work. As a high school junior, Richard Ebright continued his advanced experiments on monarch pupa. That year, his project won the first place in the International Science Fair. Underline this. Winning the prize in the International Science Fair is a very big thing and gave him another chance to work in the army laboratory during the summer. Means he got a chance to work in the army laboratory. Okay, in his senior year he went a step further. He grew cells from a monarch wing. Senior, when he was in the senior year, he went a step further. He grew cells from the monarch's wing in a culture and showed that the cells would divide and develop into normal butterfly wing scales, only if they were fed the hormone from the gold spots. That project won the first place for the zoology at the International Science Fair. Means how, understood how the cells work, how golden spots, how important the hormone is. You can read it once again, you will understand very clearly. He did the experiments due to which he got a prize, you can say first prize in zoology at the International Science Fair. He has spent the summer after graduation during further work at the army laboratory and the laboratory of US Department of Agriculture. Means a step by step he was reaching on the top. The following summer, after his freshman year at Harvard University, means he reached in the Harvard University. From reading to Harvard University, always remember, it was a great achievement for him. Richard Ebright went back to the laboratory of the Department of Agriculture and did more work on hormone from the gold spots. Understood, everyone? Means he was working more on the hormone from the gold spots found on the body of monarch pupa using the laboratory's sophisticated instruments. Means newly designed gadgets. He was able to identify the hormone's chemical structure. Beta, if you go deeper in any concept, you will understand. uh, what I personally believe, that if you have the mastery over any topic na, you wish to go into the depth of that very concept, and that is what Richard Ebright was doing. A year and a half later, during his junior year, Ebright got the idea of his new theory about cell life. है ना? It came while he was looking at X-ray photos of the chemical structure of hormone. Means he was going deeper in that concept. Okay, when he saw those photos, Ebright did not shout Eureka. Please comment me in the comment box whose work was this. Eureka means name the scientist who said Eureka after any experiment. Or even I have got it. But he believed that although with his findings about insects hormones, the photos gave him answer to one of biological puzzles on how cell can read the blueprint of DNA. DNA is the substance, underline this, DNA is the substance in the nucleus of a cell that controls heredity. It determines the form and functions of the cell. What is the full form of DNA? Please comment it in the comment section. The DNA is in the blueprint of life. And what is the full form of RNA? Everyone. Okay. Now this is the last page, and thank you so much till here. Please watch. Hold on, this is going to be tedious, but what should I say? uh, in order to solve the questions, everyone, you will have to listen. Ebright and his college roommate James R. Wong, Richard Ebright, his college roommate James R. Wong, worked all night drawing pictures and constructing plastic models of molecules to show how it could happen. Together, they later wrote the paper that explained the theory. Richard Ebright and his roommate James R. Wong was working till late night. A motivation for you all. If you really want to become successful, you will have to work day and night, everyone. है ना? You will have to struggle a lot to become successful. Even your Pranav said, to be honest, at this point of time, I am creating the video, you can say, or I can just making the video, or I am teaching you at this very time in the night. Okay, after teaching in the daytime somewhere, I know you all know where am I teaching these days. Still, I am working for you all, and I hope that with the grace of you all, with the grace of Almighty, I will be successful in delivering all the concepts to you all. Together, they latter wrote the paper that explained the theory. Surprising no one who knew him, Richard Ebright graduated from Harvard with highest honors, second in his class of 1510. He got the second position out of 1510 students. Richard Ebright went on to become a graduate student researcher at Harvard Medical School. There he began doing experiments to test his theory. If the theory proves correct, it will be a big step towards understanding the process of life, on how cells of butterflies work. It might also lead to new ideas for preventing some types of cancer and other diseases. All of this was possible because of, underline this line, everyone, remember this line, because of Richard Ebright's scientific curiosity. He had the eagerness in the field of science, due to which he became a scientist. His high school research into the purpose of the spots on a monarch pupa eventually led him to his theory on how cells work. The purpose of the spot on monarch pupa, that led him to the theory how cells of monarchs or how cells of butterflies work. Dear students, this paragraph is even more important. Richard Ebright has been interested in science since he first began collecting butterflies, but not so deeply that he has not time for other interest. Always remember, everyone, beta, that if you have the interest in any field, then you should not think that I will become a specialist only in that. Become a specialist in that, but side by side you should also have some interests in other thing. Like Richard Ebright became a champion debater, understood? Okay, someone who debates, argument. It on television shows you might have seen so many debaters. Public speaker and a good canoeist, someone who basically sails the ship as far as minor is concerned, and all around outdoor persons. He is also an expert photographer, particularly of nature and scientific exhibits. My dear students, he was an all-rounder. He was multi-talented. He was not only the scientist but also a debater, public speaker, canoeist, an all-round outdoor person, photographer he was. Okay, in high school, Richard Ebright was a straight student. Because learning was easy, he turned a lot of his energy towards the debating and model United Nations clubs. Do you know, everyone? He also found someone to admire, Richard A. Wearer. Means Richard A. Wearer, his social study teacher admired him. Do you know, everyone? There is a great role of teachers in a student's life. If you find a good teacher in your life, he or she can change your life also. Always remember. And yes, this Richard A. Wearer was the admirer of Richard Ebright. Okay, his name also starts with Richard, right? and advisor to both clubs. Mr. Werner was the perfect person for me then. He opened my mind to new ideas, Richard Ebright said. Richard would always give that extra effort, Mr. Werner said. What pleased me was here was this person who put in 3 or 4 hours at night doing debate research besides doing all his research with butterflies and other interests. 2 3 or 4 hours at night means day and night Richard Ebright worked. That's why he became a scientist. Means everyone always remember, Rome was not built in a day. Means every day you will have to work, every night you will have to sacrifice in order to become successful. Richard was competitive, Mr. Werner continued. When any teacher admires you, you also become very happy. Okay, but not in a bad sense. He explained Richard was not interested in winning for winning's sake, always remember, or winning to get a prize. Rather, he was winning because he wanted to do the best job he could for the right reasons. He wants to be the best. My dear students, do you know one thing? That if you want to win anything, if you want to become successful, you should work to your fullest. Means you should give your best, you will win. Don't think of winning, just give your best in your job, you will win for sure. For the right reasons, he wants to be the best. I think you all should become the best. Okay, and wish you all the best. And that is one of the ingredients in the making of a scientist. Start with a first rate mind. He had a first rate mind. Add curiosity. People should have the curiosity. Mix in the will to win for the right reason. Will means desire to win. Richard Ebright has these qualities. Means everyone, please remember, if you have a good mind, if you have the eagerness, curiosity to learn anything, if you have the willpower to win, you will become successful in your field for sure. Okay, you all will tell me what do you want to be in your life and how will you become successful. I would wait for your comments. From the time the book The Travels of Monarch X opened the world of science to him, which book opened the world of science for him? The Travels of Monarch X. Who gave The Travels of Monarch X to Richard Ebright? His mother. Richard Ebright has never lost his scientific curiosity. Beta, for you all I would say that if you also are interested in your particular field, and if you work day and night in sharpening your concept, your field, you will also become successful in your life. Wish you all the best. And dear students, some questions once again which can come out from this topic is: write the character sketch of Richard Ebright. How did Richard Ebright become a scientist? What was the role of Ebright's mother in making him a scientist? These kinds of questions will surely come in your board examination. Wish you all the best for your coming exam. Stay tuned. Share this video to all the students, as many students of class 10th as you can. Support your sir. Thank you everyone. See you in the next class. And yes, one more thing. Do comment me which chapter I should upload or teach in the next video. Waiting for your reply. Thank you everyone. See you in the next class. Take care. Bye bye.